Everybody hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Hide, hide, hide. Hide, 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 hide. 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 Greetings and blessings, everybody. It's wonderful to be with you all today. This nigun that I'm chanting is from a chant for the letter Dalet. When I offer meditation guidance, I often do it in a way according to the paradigm of the Hebrew letters and the Sfirot. And the letter Dalet is associated with Tuesday today, so I thought we would do letter Dalet today. The letter Dalet, if you're familiar with the shape of it, looks like a person who's bowing, and it has the symbolic meaning of the midah of receptivity. So it's a wonderful presence quality, a meditation quality, to take the attitude of receiving whatever is present. So receiving what's present just means whatever is arising in our experience right now. We don't have to stretch our minds out too far in our imagination to all of the elements that we receive, but just to be aware of the life in our bodies at this moment, the breath that sustains us, that moves within us, but also the whatever feelings or emotions are arising as they come and go, whatever thoughts, that all of this is being received. And on the deepest level, our consciousness itself is actually being received, because we don't create ourselves moment to moment. We find ourselves here, which is the greatest mystery, the mystery of being. So I'm going to share the screen. Here we go. We can do a kavanah in the form of an affirmation for the letter Dalet. In the three forms, I am receiving, I am receptive, and in fact I am receptivity. Consciousness is constantly in this position of receiving whatever is arising within itself. That's how we're able to be aware. So we can chant together. I am receiving, I am receptive, I am receptivity. So we'll just chant like that 2 more times. I am receiving, I am receptive, I am receptivity. One more time, letting the sound of your voice plant its seed of receptivity deep within. I am receiving, I am receptive, I am receptivity. And the chant based on the morning blessing, She'asali kot tzorki, blessed is the divine source, which is providing for everything I need in this moment to be. She'asa, She'asa li kot tzorki, She'asa, She'asa li kot tzorki. Baruch Atah Atahu Hu Hashem Baruch Atah Atahu Hu Hashem. Remembering to feel the vibrations of the chant in your body. Even if you don't think you sing well, don't worry. You're on mute. Let those vibrations resonate in your body. That's how it draws us into presence. She'asa, She'asa, Likot Zorki, She'asa, She'asa, Likot Zorki, Baruch Atah Atahu Hu Hashem Baruch Atah Atahu Hu Hashem. And preparing to come into meditation. Coming into comfortable, alert position, letting eyes be closed or just unfocused, letting hands be unencumbered and relaxed. Taking the attitude of offering your attention generously from your heart. Offering attention to whatever is arising in this moment. Bringing your right hand to your heart. And expressing this kavanah of offering attention with lecha and a long out breath. Deep breath in. Lecha. And bringing left hand also to your belly. Awareness flowing down. Bringing healing energy. Permeating your organs. Flowing down through your legs to your feet and toes. Rising up in your chest, upper back, shoulders and neck, arms and hands and fingers, feeling the flow of breath, letting that sensation of the breath draw attention downward into the body, feeling awareness in your face, facial muscles, brain and nervous system, bringing a little smile to your lips, being the loving, benevolent, indwelling presence, life in the temple of the body, and affirming with na'aseh, deep breath in, na'aseh. And with left hand still on the belly, bringing right hand to lightly touch your forehead as your awareness opens outward into the room, the space around you. Bringing to mind that the outer world, the sounds, the objects, support beneath you, the atmosphere as it flows, is all arising within the field of awareness. Inner and outer world are one experience. And you are the field within but infinitely beyond the body. You are this vastness, this miracle of consciousness. And so affirming your identity with this field, V'nishma, deep breath in, V'nishma. Kissing your fingers, relaxing your hands. Ribono Shel Olam, help us to meditate deeply and effectively. Help us to be the vastness, not resisting whatever arises, also not following, but anchoring instead in the tefillah. Atyahu, as we chant together. Atyahu, Atyahu, Atyahu. Atyahu, just continuing in the mind. Atyahu, Atyahu. Thoughts will come, let them come, let them go. Returning the mind again and again to Atyahu as we come into silence for about 10 minutes. Amen. Take a nice stretch. She'asa, She'asa likotzorki, She'asa, She'asa likotzorki, Baruch Atah Atahu Hashem. And closing the meditation with what I call the 3 portals. Once again, bringing your right hand to your heart, bringing to mind the attitude of offering your attention from the heart with Lecha. Lecha. Bringing your left hand to your belly, awareness nestling itself in the form of the body, indwelling presence in the temple of the body, Naaseh. Naaseh. And bringing right hand to lightly touch the forehead, aware of the space around you, and knowing that the inner world and the outer world are all arising in the one field of awareness, and you are that field. You are that vastness. V'nishma. V'nishma. Kissing your fingers, relaxing your hands. As we go forth into our day, into our week, and onward, may we integrate this quality of receptivity of the letter Dalet, becoming grounded more and more so in the field of presence. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yakol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brian Yosef.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.
Let's turn now to Mourner's Kaddish. If you're in the period of mourning, if you're marking a yard site, the anniversary of a death, or if you are experiencing grief at this time, you're invited to put the names of those you're remembering in the chat. Please unmute, and you're welcome to rise in body or in spirit. The community will join in responding and in loving support. Yitgadal, Yitgadal, Aleinu val kol Yisrael val kol yoshvei tevel. Amen. May their memories be a blessing, dear ones. If you need to leave at this point, may you have a blessed day. We hope to see you again here. And if you're able to stay, please do. We'll have an opportunity for some question and answer with Brian Yosef. If you have a question, please write bold, write question in all caps, and I'll monitor the chat and share questions. But maybe to start us off, first of all, thank you so much, Brian Yosef, for that practice that was such an integration of body, song, sound, vibration, words, teaching. And maybe as a place to begin, I wonder if you could give us a little more context of what you're drawing on and how you engage in this practice.
Sure. Well, I've been teaching Jewish meditation since, oh man, maybe 2002, something like that. And over the years, I it was always a question for me how much traditional material to use for folks, since some folks are coming at it with some knowledge and background, and some folks are coming at it without any. And also just from the point of view of understanding that meditation is simplicity. Meditation really is about being the space within which you perceive any content. It's not about the content, it's about the openness in the space. Um, and for me, Jewish prayer, davening, tefillah, and so on, is about creating a vessel, a container, an inner container through our words and actions and intentions and so on. It's this profoundly rich tradition which creates this inner vessel that can be conducive to recognizing and realizing ourselves as the spaciousness of awareness. Another word for which is soul. so, so it was always a question for me, like how to balance those two things, how to present meditation in the context of Judaism. And over the years, I can't really answer how it came to me, but over the years, this developed this paradigm of the three portals that I feel are really core in being able to cultivate a meditative state. So the portal of the heart is having the right attitude, which is normally when we start to meditate, we're doing it for a reason. Like we're not just doing it for no reason. We want to have less stress, or we want to get closer to Hashem, or we want to have a spiritual, whatever it is, we have some reason, and that's good. But the problem is that if you're reaching after some kind of goal, some kind of state, some kind of experience, that can kind of sabotage the process of meditation, because because meditation is fundamentally not about reaching for anything. It's about being with whatever is, being that presence behind the experience. And so I like to start it with that, what I call the portal of the heart, which is just taking the attitude of offering your attention the same way you would offer your attention to someone who's speaking to you, that you love, that you care about. It's just it's attentiveness, but not a tight attentiveness. It's a warm attentiveness. And then the portal of the body is just how to let the mind relax by shifting our focus from thinking into body awareness, also predominantly breathing, but also sensory awareness in general, and feeling awareness in the body, in the temple of the body, really. And then the third step is really the fruit of meditation, but we can bring it to mind even if we're not quite feeling it yet, which is to recognize that all of our experience, both of the world around us and also our thoughts and feelings, everything as a totality is happening within consciousness, and that consciousness is not in our body, but it's really an open field. It's a vastness. It doesn't have any shape or form. And so by bringing that to mind, we can nudge ourselves into that realization and experience a little bit more deeply. So those are what I call the three portals, and they roughly correspond to all the threes in Judaism. So Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, actually the symbolism of those characters fits nicely into the three portals. Yitzchak being about Gevurah and bringing awareness into the form of the body. Abraham about being, kindness, hospitality, and so on. So, and there are many other threes that are like that. Bechol levavcha, uvechol nafshecha, uvechol meodecha. It's amazing once you have that idea how you can find them in different places.
And just to translate, bechol levavcha, with your whole heart.
Yeah.
Nafshecha, with your whole soul. Uvechol meodecha, with your often translated as strength or your very muchness, uh,
Yeah.
another level of being.
And
Beautiful.
I'm thinking of that a little bit like nafshecha, and it nefesh is soul, but it also can mean person. So it can sometimes the person's body is called the nefesh or the nefesh. That's the life in the body, and then meodecha, vastness. Yeah.
Beautiful. There's a question here about how this process might be different from other forms of meditation. Of course, there are a lot of different forms of practice and orientation. Often on the daily sit, there's a lot of just sitting with experience. And it's clear that you're encouraging a cultivation, a kind of cultivation practice. I don't know if that's the language that you would use with it. But I wonder if there's more that you might want to say about this form of practice as different from maybe a less directed or less cultivation oriented kind of practice.
Well, it's really the cultivation part is really cultivating our thoughts and feelings and body position and all that in order to do the other thing you said, which is just to be with experience. So we could just go right into being with experience and have it not have so much content. But we already have content, like we're all coming at this from the context of our lives, our opinions, our beliefs, our thoughts, our stories. So to me, it's always made sense to cultivate that a little bit, because it's the context of what we bring to it is going to affect how successful and how deep we are with just being with what is. So in my view, meditation is simple. It doesn't really have content. It is just being present. But nevertheless, there are things we can do in order to cultivate the vessel for being present. So that's how I see what we were doing, as well as all of the other traditional davening is all to that function, but we often don't do it that way. Very often people simply learn to say the words, and it's about words, and it's about community and showing up and stuff, but it's not so much about the inner. So that's why it's so wonderful, all of the things that IJS is doing and other wonderful teachers, to really bring the richness of Judaism to cultivate the vessel. And my way of doing it is just a particular way. So if it, it's the proof is in the pudding. If it works for you, then good.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm just looking at a question from Nancy, who says, I experienced deep grief as the memory of my sister came to me on this, her birthday. It is easier to notice and not get involved with random thoughts, but strong emotions are harder. Can you speak to the balance between not resisting what arises and being able to come back to the focus?
Well, I don't think of that as a balance. I think of that as really two different aspects of the same thing. So by focus, I assume you mean like, because I was giving the instruction to say atyahu, and of course it can be any tefillah that you have in your mind. But the function of having that tefillah or some kind of focus is really just to counter the tendency of the mind to spin off, right? To just bring it back into some the focus really can just be the breathing, or it can be sounds you hear, whatever, but it's not really balancing that with not resisting what arises. The idea of in my experience and practice of meditation, it's about being fully with whatever arises. So if that grief is arising, letting it be there and not trying to put your focus on something else a little bit, but just really opening to it, and not doing the common thing, which is to start going off in the mind in memories and so on, and that we're thinking about any type of thought stream, but rather just being with the feeling, being the presence behind the feeling, and giving yourself that gift of being able to feel that, because that's part of the really what's so important about meditation, in my view, is that in the flow of life we're doing things and we don't usually feel things fully, and so therefore that those feelings get lodged in our nervous system in some way. They're kind of locked there until we fully feel them and let them rejoin rejoin the essence in a sense. And what I mean by that is that when we have grief or we have trauma or any kind of powerful experience and we don't feel it fully, it's as if those things are like entities in our nervous system that prevent us from living fully and feeling fully conscious, because we're resisting them to some degree, because we have to resist them in order to function. We can't just feel this intense emotions all the time and get through the day. So therefore, when they do come in meditation, that's really a gift, and that's really important to let ourselves feel it fully, in my view.
Thank you. Nancy, thank you for your question and sharing that grief with us so we can embrace it and support it with you. And as you were speaking, Brian Yosef, I also got the sense that meditation practice is inviting us to be in relationship with the whole of experience.
Right.
And the things that are painful often really pull our attention strongly, and can become the whole of our experience. And we want to honor and touch as lovingly and gently as we can the things that are difficult. And what I heard you offer is that we do so held and supported in the awareness with the embrace of what is so much larger than ourselves. And so we have this wider capacity to be with what is painful, what is difficult, because the divine is holding us in it.
Right. That's right. And that sense is not just it's not just an idea to buy into. It's something we can really feel and experience through practicing regularly. You get to feel that vastness, that it's not just me and my body and my feelings with my thoughts and so on, but really it's all of being. It's what we call Hashem, it's the divine. And the more we relax that separate self sense by simply being that presence, we can discover that we have the capacity really to be with anything. Anything that arises, we can be with it, because we are more than just the person, more than just the ego. We are that vastness of consciousness, which is really the consciousness of God, seeing and hearing and living through us, to get a little more spiritual and philosophical about it.
Rena just wrote, love kissing fingers and receiving and offering kisses. I just wanted to share that. That's really beautiful. And a number of people have commented about the vibrations of the chanting, the singing. I wonder if you can say more. You've referred to this some, but I'd love to hear a little bit more. What is it specifically about this kind of chanting? I don't know if that's a shruti box that you have or harmonium.
Yeah, it's a harmonium.
What that sound offers. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Look at that. And what it is that specifically chanting offers into the whole of this practice.
Well, it's a way of drawing attention out of the thinking mind and into presence, in the same way that focusing on breathing can do that. It's just another modality. Breathing is offering us the physical sensation of the flow of air, which is, of course, when we have to constantly breathe. So it's bringing us into an intimate connection with something that's so vital and important, but that which we normally take for granted. And when we're singing, we're just adding another dimension to it that's even more, it's seductive to awareness, and we want that. We want to be seduced into presence rather than having to try so hard. So I think that it's such an amazingly beneficial tool to chant, and it's such a part of our tradition too. If for those who've had experience davening in traditional settings, you probably notice that some people are taking advantage of that, and you can feel the presence in the chanting of the tefillot, and some people not so much, just mumbling fast, So it's good to really point that out and to know the power of it, so that we can apply it when when we're doing our practice.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
and then we also have, of course, particular kavanot in particular chants, in particular tefillot. So we can affirm those, and those are just different aspects of presence that are all potential within that state of presence. But we can focus on one or the other more so, depending on what kind of meditation we're doing.
Lovely. Thank you so much. We need to pause here. Brian, Yosef, thank you for your teaching and your leadership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And thank you, everyone, for being here. May you go out in good health and in peace and in blessing. Take good care,
All
everyone.
blessings, everybody. Thank you.